Back up, got it. And here, yeah, I'll just tag you. I'll tag you once it comes up. Has it been 3 years?
It was 2019, yeah.
God.
Flies, eh?
Tell me about it. Okay, there's Michael. And do a, yeah, there you are. Nalinee. Okay. Both of them are tagged. And they went through as tags. So I'm just going to, since we're not on Restream, test. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Perfect.
I have the mic put away for me a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to pull up my Facebook page just so we can look at those comments from that platform. Well, we're still on all the other platforms. We just use Zoom, which means we can't see all the comments in one place, but we're good. Very good. So, hello, family. Dynamic duo that you are. You look fantastic. You look fantastic.
Thank you. So
You both look fantastic. Yeah.
Oh,
Really.
thank you.
Like
Thanks for
childlike
having
wonder.
us, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really good to catch up with you. Sorry about the mix-up on the date. But yeah,
Oh,
we're
no, it's
here
okay.
now. And I can't think of I mean, you know, Morgan and I were just talking about it today, how over time, let's see, today's the 20th. Here it's the 20th. You're the 21st. But
21st.
the calendar always seems to just kind of exemplify everything that's going on. So, like, we had some couple of prominent shows planned for the 22nd, which obviously is a very powerful day, just like the 20th and 21st, really, when you think about it. And they, you know, like a lot of people, they're doing their own thing right now. You know, like in Solitude, I think one had another thing come up. But it's just weird how the schedule at Soulogy just kind of follows the path of the energetics in the collective. So it's not a mistake that you guys end up being here on the 21st, 20th or 21st, depending on where you're at in the world. So I know it's going to be a nice shared space. But you both look fantastic. You just exude childlike wonder. And of course, she got a download late November, I think, and we got to put couples on. I don't know why, but we're supposed to, so we did. We did a bunch of couples, and I was just reflecting on when we talked before, and we did talk a lot about your relationship, to include my most vivid memory of when y'all went to the village and did plant medicine, and had it coming out both ends. I said, what better way to ensure that you're fully integrated in oneness with somebody else, right?
Exactly.
That's true.
Yeah.
To be able to puke and shit in front of one another, eh?
Exactly. Isn't that amazing? Which is a lot different than just going to the bathroom with the door open. This was actually crawling on your hands and knees coming out of the heart.
Exactly.
Oh my God, what a story.
Most vulnerable moments.
Yeah. The transparent moments. Right? I mean, people talked about vulnerability for so long, and it's very, it's very important. But I realized 2-3 months ago, like, we're not here to be vulnerable. We're here to be transparent.
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen sooner or later anyway. I mean, 100% telepathy is full transparency, right? Yeah. But so I mean, we haven't talked in a long time. We can talk about y'all's relationship some, of course, but I'm just curious because I know you're both connected and highly sensitive, and of course then you have the collaborative energy that creates the third energy, which is becoming so prominent in all of our lives. But yeah, what's it been like for you guys these last 2 years with the whole presentation or suggestive programming or whatever you want to call it with the COVID and everything that went with it, but in particular also, the last few weeks are really 2022. I mean, it's been amazing. Somebody told me yesterday these first few weeks of 2022 are bigger than all of 2021. And I couldn't disagree with them. I thought, well, you know what? You're probably right. But how's it been going for you guys the last couple of years and the last few weeks?
It's been good.
Yeah?
No, well, before the pandemic started, I was teaching, and I decided to quit the teaching and start following my passion with healing music. And so I picked up the didgeridoo and started playing didgeridoo, and it's just changed my whole view of life.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
and we definitely vibe on the same frequency,
Yeah.
even more, because
Even more now.
our rhythm becoming very much the same, our routine becoming very much the same, and he has becoming a part of the ceremony both in Bangkok and online, and it has helped me a lot as well, and it gives me more space to grow, to integrate, having him on my side alongside with what I do. So
Yeah.
Wow. Let's follow
It
up
was-
on that. Let me just check one thing. Somebody said that there's a problem with the mic. Is that on their end, or is anybody else getting that issue? I just want to double check.
Okay.
I
You
think
can hear us fine.
I can hear you fine. Yeah, I just want to
Yeah.
make sure that I think everything's okay. No, it's fine. Okay. Okay. So yeah, that's significant to me, because doing our primary vehicle at Soulogy is this SoulSpeaks 5D, which is a lot of discussion, a verbalization. But it feels like to me, and I'm not trying to frame anything up here, because I want to get into this a little bit, especially because of the fact of what you just said, and that it's become a part of what you were already doing, both in Bangkok and the ritual and so on, and online. But to me, like this masculine, the masculine side of things, having lost more and more and more of its distortion, and then coming back and resurfacing in its pure form, which is, I would say, in like an equality or an equilibrium with the feminine, where the creativity and the flowiness versus the straight lines and the predictable come to influence, which is coming out in artistic expressions, both with men and women. I mean, I'm going through it myself. I haven't really written or done a lot of stuff artistically, not consistently, for 3 years, and I'm starting to get back into it. And I really feel like that's what it is. It's the feminine coming out, and in at least a good deal of the time, in a non-verbal way or a non-traditional way. So you're saying that as Michael's discovered the didgeridoo, did I say it right? I finally
Yes.
said it right. I always say it wrong. But since Michael discovered the didgeridoo, that something's happened in terms of your chemistry and the energetics and the creativity. I don't know if you'd want to expand on that, but it just feels like something that I'm resonating with, and I got to believe that others are too. Is there anything you could expand on that?
Yeah, it was nice once to leave the teaching. So getting out of that 9-to-5 job, Monday to Friday work, and going to do something that follows my heart. And I've always wanted to play the didgeridoo, but always thought it's too difficult to play because of the circular breathing. And I just decided, pick it up and give it a go. And I've just fallen in love with it. It's helped me connect more with Mother Nature and with my spiritual side as well. Because as playing it, you can actually go into a deep meditation while playing.
And so so if I'm understanding, that's incorporated itself into what Nalinee was already doing, right?
That's right, yes.
Other than like in the moment when you're going through the rituals, do you see that same pattern in your relationship? Like, does that kind of like symbolize like a further integration of each other, and how does that kind of like play out in your relationship?
Yeah, well, definitely, because before, when he was still in 9 to 5, and it was also a great support for us as well, but our routine and our rhythm wasn't really in sync. However, our thoughts will still be in sync. We still think the same thing and say what we think. But when we begin to share that space together and hold space for others, and share that music as a media that connects us telepathically, it becomes a knowing of that inner dance that is really actually beyond what we can describe, because once we create the space and we jumped into this water and we're just learning to swim with each other, and it's very much like I'll be singing like language and then he would coming in with his didgeridoo, and I'll take a break and then he take his solo, and then everything's just kind of in sync naturally.
And the more we play together, the more in sync we're getting.
That's what I'm inferring, I guess.
Yeah.
To me, that just sounds like, because basically what you're saying is it wasn't bad before, it's just gotten better.
No.
And I love the
intuition's getting stronger.
Yeah. And I think there's something to the embodiment of actually, first of all, there's several elements I see that I'm seeing in the field and even in myself, which is more nonverbal expression, natural instruments, natural things. And then, of course, like you just said, you can't really put it into words, but I have a feeling, and hopefully we can do that today. We can see a little sample of that, because it's actually in the expression that the code is received. That's just my take on it. And that's what I think you're saying. It's like it's happening. I can't really explain it, but if you saw it, you could. I mean, that's our experience that you could. I guess, from where you're coming from, which is really cool.
Yeah, and it's tremendous healing for both of us as well, because when he was working 9-to-5 job, his creative energy was channeling towards a corporation, towards that industrial system, while he answering his call to spirit, his creative energy becoming more balanced, becoming more in tune.
Yeah.
And now you quit beer.
Yes, I've given up alcohol.
And that's a big thing for South African.
Like the Germans and the Polish, right?
The Dutch.
Well, and there's another element here too, which I'm seeing in myself and in others, which is courage. Courage to try something, such as the Didge, or for me to maybe expand on verbalizing the stuff that I write, in tune with instrumentals and just kind of in a spontaneous way, a lot like I think what you're talking about with your rituals. So the courage of actually trying something that you haven't. And then the other thing too, which is like courage A, courage B, is actually stepping away from the guarantee of a corporate job or a traditional way of making a living, and stepping into kind of that freestyle, faith-oriented, hey, I'm going to put this energy out there from my heart or from our hearts.
That's right.
And the universal is going to reciprocate in ways that don't meet the natural or the unnatural that we're leaving, right? I mean, that must have taken some nerve to do that. Did you have to discuss it, or did you already just see it happening?
That's the tremendous healing part on myself, because I had this fear of lack, and when, like you said, things comes out from this the delusion of security, right, with the physical tangible form, I struggled a bit, especially with those basic thoughts, those basic programs of, how am I going to support? How are we going to support ourselves? What are we going to do? Are we going to make enough money? These old narratives, and I'm still swimming with it. However, they becoming less and less and less powerful, and I'm just having more peace in the present moment and trusting in the joy that we share, really.
Yeah, well, I think everybody does have it. I know that since I left Houston in 2016 and started basically carrying what little I had in a suitcase and a microphone and a computer with me until, we did get some roots 2 summers ago here, but I was always conscious of my relationship with this new form or this new equation or new way or process of creating abundance that stepped out of that box. But I still believe that we're all on that path, because I know for myself, I still go through it. Like I'm contemplating something now, and I'm going, well, I can't do that, because if I do that, it's going to cause a problem in the flow of abundance, which is really, for me, abundance, both literally, theoretically, and figuratively speaking. We only have, Morgan and I, what we need when we need it. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we have a savings account, be it literal or figurative. That energy of this new, I call it 5D commerce or 5D abundance, is you get what you need when you need it. Yeah, and exactly. So that makes it, a little tough on the human, but it's also a great action of faith, to actually do it.
Yeah, and to hold on to that
to
knowing and to live that, it's actually lighter on the shoulders and lighter on the chest and the body as well.
Yeah.
Because I'm never the person that continuously count number. My brain doesn't work well with adding up numbers and accountant kind of field. And I feel intuitively to flow exactly what you say as well. It's just to know that we always support it.
Yeah.
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 It's always going to be there, but not how I could say our ego wants it to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or not what the ego knows.
That's right. Yeah.
What we know, the human knows, or the ego knows. And then I've noticed too. Now I've noticed this going back, because I think I really took a jump like the summer of 2018. I think it was summer of 2018. In my own personal experience, and of course the experience that Morgan and I share. But what I found was, or what I'm finding is, that when that action of faith is taken, that the payoff, so to speak, comes more and more immediately. Like it's crazy.
In many ways as well.
Yeah. And that to me is, because we always want evidence, but that to me is really good evidence, and parallels a lot of the things that are happening, I think, for all of our different attributes, let's just say, that are being enhanced as we get into 2022. So one of the things that some of the couples talked about was from about October up until maybe even now, I don't know, but certainly January, that there were some pretty big challenges coming up. Not, and I know couples that actually broke up, some that had been together quite a while during this period, but almost like just a furthering of what we're going through individually, but more shadows coming up, old things coming up at a deeper level than they had been before, even though they may have been cleared. Did you guys go through this stuff?
Yeah,
or did the coming out both ends experience?
No, actually, we actually came into the realization that we've done enough ayahuasca, we've done enough hard medicine, and now it's about integration. Now it's about the work on ourselves, and knowing that the lesson that we receive, the experience that we receive from those medicine at this point is enough for us to work on. And definitely since October, November and December, personally I had a lot of grief, a lot of deep sadness came up, as well deep fears, and I find balance within coming into the now moment, and not so much of forcing release to happen, but be aware with acceptance of the sad Nalinee, the fearful Nalinee, and also the present Nalinee that doesn't know that it doesn't matter what's right or what's wrong, but it's about here and now, that I'm able to breathe, that I've got roof above my head, etc.
Yeah.
I do a morning ritual every morning. I go sit outside and I just give gratitude to being where I'm sitting in that chair, looking in the sky, listening to the birds in the morning, and it just helps me every day to be that positive throughout every day. Yeah.
And I think grief or loss of identities or identity death, that seemed to be, I remember Morgan posting stuff about that October, November, and other people. I think that was pretty prevalent in the field. But I really like what you said too, because I know on a personal level, and I know a lot of people can relate to this, like what you were talking about, the aspect of you that's sad, or the aspect of you that's in grief, or whatever the other emotions might be. Like, we're not pushing them away. We're not, denying them, but people are starting to actually sit with those aspects as equal members of their multidimensional makeup, which seems to be a really solid sign of embodiment, I guess.
Yeah, I feel that once we accept and aware, we then can make a conscious choice of what power we give into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you guys find a relation between these human embodiments and a higher degree of your, let's just say, your higher sensitivity, skills, and abilities? I have some red curry on the stove, and I forgot to turn it down. It's overflowing. So you can answer that question. I'll go turn it down.
Okay.
Oh no.
Okay.
Okay.
Question.
Well, I'm just going to answer his question according to my understanding, meaning that there's definitely more powerful synchronicities, definitely more vivid mirror reflections of the state of being where we at. And that telepathic realization that he left his red curry on the stove. And you just realized that as you said.
I know. Well, I smelled it.
Yeah.
I smelled it, and the other day I was talking to Morgan, and I had just made it, and it was and all of a sudden I smelled it. I said, I got some red curry, or actually it's actually yellow curry this time. And anyway, when I went and caught it, this one was fine. This one's actually perfect.
Okay, good.
But a lot, because all the milk, the coconut milk, comes up to the top, and it all spilled over.
Yeah.
So I had to get it and put it back in. But yeah, sorry about that.
That's fine.
But
I just answered a bit regarding what you just said about how synchronicity is becoming more powerful.
yeah,
Clear reflections of our state of being, the universe, reflect on point. And I have to add, not only physical dream, which is this waking time, but also in astral dream.
yeah,
And I feel that it has to do with us merging clearer with the spirit world, with the manifested template in the spirit plane, in astral plane.
I was going to say that the manifestation are getting stronger, you could say. People are able to manifest things a lot easier now, I feel, as well.
Knowing what they're manifesting clearer, yeah.
yeah. Making up their mind, I think, is like, do you want to stay with this vision that has a bit of duality in it, or do you want to just make the leap, quit your job, and start playing the didge, and collaborating and watch the abundance, watch the return?
Yes.
So. Yeah, I get that. And then I think with the astral dream, lucid dream, and then just even like retrospect, like for instance, the lucid dreams definitely have been teaching me a lot. And I think it's going back to something you said earlier, not so much, you need to go work on this or you need to go work on that, but actually showing me that I'm coming into alignment. And there's nothing to do but just to recognize the message I'm receiving, which is telling me that. And then the other thing is, like for instance, it was 3 or 4 days ago, you know how the memories come up. And I started doing videos for Soulogy in earnest, and I didn't even know this, in September of 2015. So I had probably done up until that month, maybe 3 or 4 over 6 months, because it was a fear thing. It was I was scared. So I'm watching this video to see if I want to put it out again, because sometimes the things that might have been said then, and plus I was very raw and shadowed at the time, I ended up putting it out. But the reason I put it out is because in the video I say, We started doing this about 3.5 weeks ago. We started doing these videos on Soulogy. We've had like 60, 70,000 people of views, and I'm going to keep going with it. Well, 3.5 weeks prior is when I met Morgan. So there was the synchronicity in the sign, and I put up a post about it, but there was the sign that I didn't catch at the time at a conscious level, but now I'm being shown. And then I just, my reflections on the post, I just said, if we look back now, we can see where these things were happening all along. And they're happening.
And then you can have that sense of gratitude as well.
Absolutely, you can.
Yeah.
And that validation as well that we look for, and rightfully so, that, we look for out sometimes, like, say you get a download and then you go check on Facebook to see if anyone else is getting the same thing at the same time, that happens. But now you're getting it from your own path, to your point, and more gratitude, no doubt.
Yeah. I feel these are all examples of the fact that we do not need to cling on to the logic mind and the prediction of the logic mind to feel safe. We can just follow the synchronicities and know exactly, like you said, receive when we need, exactly when we need it, and things will fall into place intuitively.
Yeah, which is a little bit strange and weird. It's a little bit strange and weird if we try to operate from the old way and the old expectations. I've been saying this for years, not even know what I'm saying. Like, maybe the biggest challenge we have is getting used to the natural way that we're going back to, because it's unnatural to the unnatural way that we've been used to, right?
Yeah, to get rid of the old doctrines that we've been taught, as well as and going into the new, finding yourself centered is also can be overwhelming for some people as well.
Yeah, and I feel that when we allow the ego to force, it builds stagnant.
Yeah.
And things are not really fall into place, and it causes imbalance. And this is what we are all learning.
Yeah. It's kind of like, we get these urges to answer a call or to do something, like to do something on a personal level. You could call it guidance, and it's kind of like, if you don't listen to it, it just builds and builds, right? Kind of like suppressed emotions. It just builds and builds. It's going to come out. So let go or be dragged, because it's coming. It's this whole thing is bigger than all of us.
Just enjoy the ride.
That's right. We bought the ticket. And it's true, though. I feel like, we all talk about the dark night of the soul, and maybe that's not the right connotation, but I think anyone that came to the earth based on let's just say the experiences prior, whether we're conscious of them or not, this is a tough, has been, but it's getting better. But I'm just saying, this is like looking at all your stuff, right? This is like, the example or the symbology of you guys coming out of a hut on all fours, coming out both ends. This is how it goes. Everybody sees it. I can't let that go. I'm sorry.
No, it's cool. It's fine.
I think it's one of the most incredible characteristics or examples of love I've ever heard, to be honest with you. I think it's absolutely amazing. I have all the respect for you.
I think it's amazing for us to experience that, especially being in a concrete jungle, and we're so conserved about farting, about burping, about shitting and puking, and it's fine. It's all places and time for it. But when we're in that space, when we witness one another going through that humanness, it's just like this is about being human. Sometimes you have toxin in your body and you need to get it out, and that's it.
Yeah. I would say that was, that's what I mean. It's like fast tracking, because think how many identities that you killed off, false identities. Yeah. Like, I'm too proud to poop in front of anyone, but again, it's not like somebody standing at the door. I'm going to poop and I need to get past this fear. Can you stand at the door and watch me? This wasn't like that. This is like, full blown. Yeah.
She's pooping anymore.
Say it again. I was muting for the sound.
She doesn't like it, me talking to her while she's pooping at the bar.
I don't either. I don't want it either.
No, you need engagement, and when there's someone just watching you and talking to you, you're like, I'm distracted here.
Yeah.
But
But
in the jungle it was completely
Yeah,
different.
because you have help
Yeah.
from the medicine. But when
That's
you
right, yeah.
when you're alone with it, you're like, let me just be in this process of the dance between forcing and surrendering.
Oh my God, you guys are a riot. So I know you guys are both sensitive, and I think we spent a lot of time talking about the shadows and what polarities we're integrating and zero pointing, and not that these things are bad, but I often say to myself, what are you doing that's expansive? What are you seeing in yourself, or what are you seeing maybe in the others? What's happening? Almost like, let's talk about the good stuff. Like, are your sensitivities becoming more enhanced? Are you having interdimensional connectivity, communion that's becoming more expansive as time's gone on, especially here these last few weeks?
You go first.
Yeah, my connections with my guides, my higher self, is getting a lot stronger, which is awesome. I love it. And new guides are coming through for me. Even spirit animals are coming through for me now in a lot stronger way than you could say about 6 months ago.
Wow.
So it's definitely getting more stronger, and the connection is getting a lot solid, which is nice.
For me, cacao has guided me
Yeah.
to different paths, and the deeper path of shamanism. And I'm half Chinese, and I finally found some information and connection with my spirit guides of the eastern side of the South Siberian in spirit.
Wow.
So that's kind of how plant medicine journey in Peru triggered the memory of shamanism, and then everything just fall into place back to my roots. Now, magic of Thailand that's been hidden through superstitions, through fear, coming up more and more and more as well, and it's a blessing. Personal work would be the embracement of the path of know thyself. I know my flaw, I know my loophole, and be mindful of the temptation and seduction of the ego that gets into fear, gets into lust, get into grief. And along those path of self-work, it really inspired me to hold space in balance for myself and for others, and to connect with the spirit world and in shamanic journey with balance as well, and not to really dwell into the extreme duality of the physical world or even the lower astral realm. So I guess that is my expansion really of knowing myself more, of what's true to me and what's not, and just discern it.
And it sounds like that through that there's a greater presence with yourself, presence with your partner, presence with life itself, not looking, what are we going to do about paying the rent in 2 weeks, or why didn't we do this 2 weeks ago? It's like everything is becoming just the day itself, maybe.
Yeah. To be mindful, not to force, to be mindful that there's rhythm in all things, and rhythm that flows in balance and in harmony will always be in sync with earth, will always be in sync with our body. Yeah, not the mind, not what the mind wants to do and wants to obtain or achieve. Yeah.
And I really liked what Michael said too, because probably around the time things got started to amp up a little bit in October, or maybe a little bit before, I started basically getting into the habit every morning of, before I even got out of bed, just laying in bed, connecting. I find it's a good time because you still have some memory or, energetic connection to dream state or dimension. And I just started with this gratitude mantras. I'm thankful for being Todd Medina. I'm thankful for Morgan Lee. I'm thankful for our relationship. I'm thankful for Soulogy. I'm thankful for I have a roof over my head, because for a long time I didn't. And I just found that even though it sounds corny, that it can and will and does change the vibration of my whole day.
It does.
It does.
Definitely.
It seems like it's... Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, because the focus is where it's at, isn't it? The focus is the masculine principle, masculine energy within all of us. And when we channel our focus into appreciation and gratitude and into the present, we then come back into the alignment of our soul frequency. And we open up for what it is that aligns with us truly.
That was a
also
lot.
helps balance the masculine and
Yeah.
feminine.
And you just said something I never heard. It really kind of resonates with me. You said the masculine part of us is the focus, and could you just explain that a little bit more?
Okay, so according to what I observe, focus is a powerful thing. Now, in the old paradigm of consciousness, our focus has been distorted into entertainment, into schooling, marriage, having kids, pharmaceutical, etc. It's all this programming of what life has to be. And this has to do with love as well, how our focus is channeled towards what Valentine is, what romantic love should be. Now, with all this new paradigm of consciousness, which is the consciousness of the heart, we then learning to wheel our focus back into the heart, and that's when the focus come into meet the feminine energy, which is the magnetic.
Yes.
And when we bring the focus into the heart, we then can make the conscious choice of where we channel our focus into, and that's how we wheel our magic.
Yeah. Now I can see what you're saying. I can see the masculine. I see what you're saying, and actually Michael's a perfect example, because he's exemplifying, the 9-to-5 job. So even if you try, your focus has to be, a lot of it has to be there in that field, and yet you make the change, which is from your heart to yourself, and then of course to your partner, to the world, and then that ignites the feminine, which then is probably part of the reason that you have this aptitude developing to play a difficult instrument. Like it's like the electric hit the magnetic, and then boom. Yeah. Perfect description. Yeah. Wow. So I don't know how you guys feel about it. I would love to.
Yeah, we can do it.
Thank you so much. That is such a gift. I mean, I think it would be. I will.
I often work with shamanic drum, but my neck and shoulders is in tender love and caring at the moment because of painting and what I do. I kind of hurt my neck. Okay. So I'll be using my horse shamanic rattle.
Oh, wow.
So what we're going to do is we're going to guide everyone into their heart and let the sound guide. And whatever it is that you are processing in this moment in time, feel free to channel the sound into energetic work, into energetic release, give it away to earth, give it away to your guides, or igniting any inspiration, anything within you that you wish to nurture and give birth. So I would like everyone just to find their space, close your eyes and take deep breaths. Really welcome oxygen into the body. And now take your time to feel your breath. Channel your focus into the breath. And if you will, place your hands on your heart as a reminder of where your home is. The heart is the home of all time and space. The heart is the home, the center of your unique realities, unique universe. Feel the pulsation of the heart in sync with the rhythm of earth. Allow the higher self to guide. Allow the heart intelligence to guide. Feel the root. Feel heart of earth dancing with you. Feel the sky above. We are all conduits of sky and earth. Breathe in deeply and out. Come into the heart. Feel the space around you from the heart. Thank you.
Who needs plant medicine when you got that? Right? I mean, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, that was quite impressive. And I assume, I know you're doing this kind of in, on a regular basis, but do you ever plan anything, or you just start it and it just happens spontaneously?
Sometimes what we do before the space is that we will tune in and feel the energy of the space. Sometimes we will receive a reminder from spirit to say, this space, do it slow, do it soft, do it gently, and we just follow that.
Yeah.
The only routine that we have is create space, invoke the sacred space, and then we just rock and roll, really.
Yeah.
So to speak.
I'll say.
It's also important to invoke the spirits of the land. So even where you are, you invoke your spirits of the land where you are
Work with
to
the
guide
land.
you for assistance with as well.
Yeah. Do you ever have like mutual hallucinations, as the 3D might call it, or mutual dimensional visions, or even like when you're meditating or connecting? Or
Yeah. Often, the example that came through was in one night that, as I fall into sleep, I felt a lot of giant energy, which is similar to the background here, Thai giants, guardians of the lands. And then before waking time, Michael told me that he had a vivid dream of a giant gorilla.
Yeah, like King Kong grabbing me and wanting to play with me.
Yeah, it's probably a past life memory. You were the inspiration for the lady that climbed
Yeah.
Wow. And I would imagine Thailand, and I'm, even here where I'm at, but I mean, there are places that are, I guess, for a longer period of time at least, have been consistently known as power points. I would imagine that all of us are in certain locations for reasons, but do you have a certain affinity for Thailand itself, or from the area that you're in? Do you see that you're, like, say, holding pillars up there on the new grid with purpose?
We like to travel, but with this COVID, and we choose not to take the vaccine due to personal reason. We've been traveling slowly in Thailand, where there's not a lot of restriction, and that is to the knowing that the universe is guiding us to where we're meant to be. And recently we were in this small city called Lambang up north, and I was given by the host tourist map, and I'm like, no, I don't want to go to tourist place. Where should we go? And I just intuitively drawn to this ancient cave painting. And then from that point on that day, it just guided us to this ancient pool that is over 200 million years old. And the story of the locals said no swimming, no feeding the fish, because this water is sacred, and it's the water that people used to drink to heal themselves.
Wow.
So we were there without planning.
Wow.
There's a myth that there's a water dragon.
Nagas,
like a naga.
dragon.
They call it naga in Thailand.
Yeah.
Water dragon, guardian in the water.
Naga. Yeah, the Nagas built the pyramids. From what
The rep.
what I picked up on. Yeah, the dragon energy is so much a part of our lineage. It's just
Definitely.
Yeah, it's just like it's quite amazing to think. It's one thing to go, I've had a past life and I was a woman, or I was something, or this, or even I had a galactic. To the dragon is such a powerful multi-dimensionality within itself.
Yeah.
I mean,
especially in this Thai Chinese culture, where Chinese, they honor a lot of dragons and how dragons connect to different elements. And I feel that not only dragons are guardians of earth, but also in the etheric forms and different types of grids. And they too assisted many ancient culture in alchemy. But again, it's just something that I can't explain it in words. Others might be able to explain better than me. But what I feel is that at this moment, we just flowing along to what the energy guide us around the country, and it's very interesting how many sacred magical land is guarded by the military. It's just so interesting how it's always in sync with
Especially
military
in Thailand.
base. Yeah, especially in Thailand.
I think
They know.
Absolutely they know. And I think everywhere it's like that. I saw this incredible video last night by Robert Sepper. I mention him on every program, Atlantean Gardens. He just came out with one, and it's called The Entrance to Hell, I think. So he talks about the different, the different oral histories passed down about different sites. And one of the sites, and I'm trying to remember the country, I think it's European, but it's in the middle of a forest. In the middle of a forest, far from any cities or towns, there's this big multi-story house that in the middle of it is just a big atrium. And beneath it, there's all these bars that cover this giant bottomless pit. And they've actually tried to fill it, and they've tried to measure it, and they can't. And they talk to the locals, and this thing is supposedly like just older than the flood, older than no one knows who built it, no one knows who came up with it, but obviously the government / the military won't let anybody go in there. Like you can't go in there, it's just closed up. You can get an aerial picture of it, but and I know here in the States that's very true as well. I mean, you see a lot of like people don't really go to Montana a lot or the Dakotas, but there's military in these spots, big time. Yeah. And I guess like the Middle East as well.
That's true.
Yeah, that's the patriarchal control.
Yeah.
But where's what we saw on YouTube the other day? Those portals.
What?
In America, with travel.
Oh, Sedona.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sedona. Apparently, that's quite powerful. I wouldn't mind going to visit that
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, I've
You've
been
been
there.
there, right, Todd?
Yeah, we had Soulogy Fest there last year, and that was amazing. And just to prove your point, so we had Soulogy Fest as a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So Friday was like just a few hours. So Sunday, on or about 11:11, this is a true story. After the vortex had been mixing, and a dear sister of all of ours was actually at the podium, and I ran outside the tent and was talking to two other sisters, and there was just electricity in the air. And all of a sudden, 6 Black Hawk helicopters came out from around the mountain in perfect formation and flew right over the tent. So this is in the middle. This is 19, 20 miles outside of Sedona. But, you can't make this stuff up,
No.
There's a canyon, one of many in Sedona, and I don't want to say the name because I might have it wrong, but I went out there a couple times, and the people I was with told me don't go too far out, because if you go too far out, you'll see a red laser will appear on your chest, and you'll hear, "This is government property, you need to leave."
Oh, wow.
And yet there's no base to speak of around, right? So yeah, they know exactly what's happening.
No, definitely.
But I don't know about you, but I feel like everything, as has been prophesized by so many different, civilizations and so on, sacred texts, everything's being revealed.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yes.
Yeah. Even here that we have a lot of history on the royalties and how Thailand's become Thailand, etc. But there is this civilization which even historians or archaeologists here still puzzle of how the civilization ended. And I read a bit through that. It's a civilization where people conducted rituals and ceremony to connect with trees.
Yes.
And they say that it's not one city or anything, but it's a scattered villages, and they don't even know how they communicated. But these villages around the land, they space themselves out, have the same belief, have the same rituals and routines. So it is that example of things revealing that how telepathic we were,
Yeah.
how we connect through the energy of the lands, and we vibe similarly on the same consciousness, basically,
Yeah.
and connect with Earth.
Yeah, I think the trees are. Go ahead.
I believe we've got the abilities, the same abilities as what trees do with communication.
Yeah.
When
it's just
yeah,
we need to tap into it.
absolutely. When I woke up, the trees have always been my main thing. They're the main thing, because when I woke up and I started to have experiences, one of the first communions I had, once I go, oh wow, something's going on, I'm gonna see what happens. It was all trees, and I thought, well, am I supposed to be a tree hugger, or what is this? But those first couple of years when I was homeless, even though I was in a city, there were places I would go that were full of trees, and I just would go with them. And so a lot of times, and now that you're talking about like these villages popping up everywhere, when I have something I need assistance with, be it to carry a message to Morgan from my heart, or to express my own my own inspiration of the universe, whatever it may be, what I'll do is I'll go outside. I have a little forest back here, like now that I'm here, and I'll speak to the trees, and I'll ask them to spread the word, basically. And I always get the visuals, trees all around, roots, and it's like our own physical network. We know we have the etheric network, but it's like a physical network. And I always wondered why they showed me the trees first. I have a feeling, to me anyway, they are like the elders. I don't know.
Definitely.
I feel like they are the elders, physical. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, I mean, it also gives you the answer why there's so many old pyramids around the world that are exactly the same or similar.
Yes.
We connect telepathically, popping
Yes.
up. Yeah, definitely. In our garden, we invoke a peace tree. We got starfruit tree, and then we follow this rituals of the eastern side of shamanism, cleanse the space, and then we tied blue rope, which symbolized Father Sky, and I got a tiger bell hanging on a tree, and every time we would have a little fire ceremony under that tree on any day that we feel the call, just to connect and let that tree being the antenna of peace, of forgiveness, and let those energy be more powerful than fear.
Yeah.
And anchored into the land.
Yeah. My lot here has, right outside this window, a giant mother tree.
Nice.
That immediately, because it's the only one here, and the rest are on the other side of there's a driveway, horizontal driveway, and then there's like my own little forest. So it was from the beginning, I recognized her. And it's funny because there's been 2 different nights, and I have a little fire pit, and I was out there, and I heard, get up, and so I get up, and I'm just, how when it comes in, you just do it. And so I make a circle around the tree and clear it out like you sweep it with a broom, and make a clear circle. And it's the first time it was just a circle. The second time I was told, put this in there, put that in there. And I'm sure the next time it'll add more. But yeah, it's like not only is it like the overlooking, guarding all the trees, but it's also guarding a portal, like an interdimensional portal, which I still haven't. I know I'm going deeper with it. I know just it's a matter of time, and it feels like it's imminent now. But yeah, I love trees. Trees are the shit dizzle. As Snoop Dogg would say, right?
Yeah.
You guys are absolutely. Yeah, right. No disrespect, Mama Tree. No disrespect.
Yeah, no disrespect.
It's funny because I walked out I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. And yeah, you wake up sometimes and you're like off planet and you can't even like think, and maybe you're a little bit irritated, or I don't know what happened. So I walked outside. There's just a little small patio, and I walked out there and I had my head up my butt, basically. You know, I wasn't present, and all of a sudden I walked right into the tree, because it's a really big tree. So a branch of the tree, I just walked right into it, about poked me in the eye, and I could have swore I heard her telling me, "Wake up, son, wake up, be present, don't forget your gratitude," you know, and so on. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've actually had one night. I had chronic back problems for years, and I remember meeting a tree one night, and it showed me something. Like I stood in front of it, and it was just telling me things. I don't know how to explain it, but basically we had some kind of healing session, and I still swear to this day that's one of the big reasons, along with a couple other things, why I don't have back problems. In fact, it's gotten stronger, which makes no sense.
Nice.
I just turned 60. I should be like bent over by now, I'm sure.
Oh, well done.
Yeah, the trees are the elders. Hey, you guys are absolutely beautiful. It's such a pleasure and an honor to share space with you, and for you to share your collaborative energy with us. Just amazing. So all blessings to you both, and to all your endeavors and everything that you're doing. And I look forward to collaborating with you again this year if you're open to it.
Yeah.
And I just want to say too, thank you for the work that you're doing on yourselves, with each other, and now that you're expanding that through the collaborations that you do through the rituals and through your communities, because we know that affects all of us, and it takes a lot of courage, it takes a lot of guts, it takes a lot of perseverance, and I know that you guys know what I'm talking about. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
It's always fun to talk to you.
Thank you. You guys take care.
Yeah,
You
you
too.
too.
Peace out.